Programming languages are the languages that are used by computers to understand what we are telling them. Everything we see on a monitor behind some programming. But today I'm not here to talk about that. Today I'm here to tell and show how I created my own programming language, more or less. And maybe that can help someone in creating their own programming language. I got the sick idea to create my own programming language. Before I started with my project, I spent the first 15 days thinking and creating a map that would include all the functions in my programming language. After these 15 days, I started with the creation of the code. I immediately encountered a problem, namely, how do I create my programming language? First I thought of making it in Python, but let's say there were a couple of things that made me change my mind, like first, I don't know how to program in Python, and second, it is much slower than C. Yes, in fact, the programming language I use is C because it is a programming language that is very close to machine language and it takes us less time to be interpreted by computer. So here comes question number 2. Compiler or interpreter? The main difference are the ease of creation of one and the loading speed of the other. My first choice was compiler, and this I kept for the first 2 months or so, only to have 2 change, for only one small problem, namely syntax aligning for the language and in creating an extension for VS Code. So at that point I resumed the project and decided to go the interpreter route. The interpreter works like this. It reads line by line, it interprets what is written, it translates it into the programming language of choice, in my case C, and then translates into machine language. This unfortunately makes it impossible in creating a syntax aligning and extension for VS Code. Besides, the fact that time is in sending the code to machine level and it takes us a long time before it is compiled correctly. I almost gave up because as goal it was impossible, my knowledge, to create a full-fledged programming language with an interpreted language. But at which point it dawned on me, why isn't it possible? So I thought if I can't do it for VS Code or other software, then I'll create my own editor that will be able to figure out what I take in input and give you an output on what the user types. That's how I did it. What we have today is the end result of my language over time. It will be modified, improved and refined, but for now, this is it. Where do I find it? The language is available on my GitHub page, so for anyone who would like to try it out, you can go there and download it and try it out. I make sure to read everything carefully. It is very important to have GCC installed on your PC. To see if you have installed, open a terminal and type GCC and V. If it doesn't give you anything, you have not installed it. Alternatively, you have installed on your PC. It is important, otherwise it will not work. If you wonder what is GCC, it's nothing but the C and C++ language. You also find all the documentation on my website where you can learn how to program on it. Note, you have to know C because it's very similar. Will come out a video tutorial on how to program in Blaze. I'm a big fan of C syntax, so I tried to recreate it but changing a lot of things. First, I removed the semicolons, which are the most boring and ugly things in programming. Is there really anyone who likes this stuff? Well, I don't know. Then I wanted to remove the curly brackets, because in many cases we can end up with so many curly brackets, one behind the other, is to understand what they refer to is not immediately intuitive. So I introduced the ending followed by the name of the function you use, like in Pascal or Fortran, which makes it easier to understand where one thing ends and where another one ends. I have improved many things like the output system to many variants like print, which is the normal output. Then we have print ln or print new line, which one printed the next wrap. Then we have a p, which does the same things as print but is shorter for those who don't feel like writing like me. And from the next version will be introduced pl, which will do the same things as print ln. There is a lot of things that have been simplified. I suggest to go and have a look on my sites to get a complete documentation of the language and how to program on it. For any ideas, write on Discord or on GitHub, they could be added. Secret: in the next version the libraries will be put in, so if you have an extra function you want to put, you can write a code that will be put in the language, but we will talk more about that in the future. And so for this video is all. Thank you for watching and see you next video. Bye bye.